So what's this one?
It's a, I'm not sure exactly what year it is. Let's have a look underneath. Another WLA, but a guy wants it civilian sort of looking, but left tatty, like a used 1940s motorbike, but he wants it mechanically gone through, check the engine, check the gearbox, usual seat, usual clutch pedal, usual brake pedal, rewire. He did want to run it without the battery, so you have to run it, put a different generator in it with a capacitor and a voltage regulator, but it adds up to a lot of money for all the parts, so he's decided against that now.
Okay.
So we're going to run it with a battery and your lights. Coil's going to go because we've got a magneto for it, a magneto ignition. Yeah, just basically just generally gone through, but he wants all of this sort of left. Got some new crazy tyres for it, big tyres. Wants the wheels left. So basically he's painted the tanks, his mate's painted and aged the tanks and stuff for him. So basically it's a strip down, the frame's bent, strip the gearbox and check it out, strip the engine. They look like new barrels to me, so hopefully for him it'll be done. Like all the clutch pedals bent to crap, and
so you just said the frame's bent, so
yeah, if you look down there, that's bent like that.
Yeah.
On that side is bent like that. You start looking at it, that's like that. But in the Harley Davidson book there's got a way you set it all up and you measure it all, and we can tell what's bent and what isn't. Mostly they suffer from twists that way, but you can't really see that until you get it all apart. See, that back wheel looks like it's doing that. But until it's apart you won't know. Like I say, put you straight in. Wants the frame blasted and primed and just done in satin black. Wants us to make an upswept exhaust with a megaphone on it, so it'll be very, very noisy. And that's the magneto. So you get rid of your distributor, and that fits in there. So it's a self-generating ignition system basically.
yeah.
So that's one without lights, no dynamo, no nothing, which obviously he will need lights. That's one with the big tyres on, the sort of look he wants, yeah?
Yeah.
That's one with the see-through look there, which is the idea of getting rid of your battery box and everything.
Okay. Yeah.
But we deem that or too expensive to do realistically. That's the sort of exhaust pipe he wants made.
Okay.
That's on a knuckle, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's the sort of pipe he wants. So yeah, it's a bit of a sort of
Hodgepodge, isn't it?
hot roddy custom looking kind of thing, you know. So, but he's given me a list of what he wants doing and wants the wheels left alone, so they'll be left as they are. Just a little clean up. So yeah, the first thing to do is strip it all down, all the wiring's in back, front and God knows what, so yeah, just strip it down and tidy it up really, but just make sure it's mechanically sound. He wants to be able to get on it and just ride it.
Okay, fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah. frame is bent, which we knew by looking at this. Curve in that, the curve in that, and the curve in that way. Which is, well, that's your frame. Got a straight edge there, yeah, all the way through, which we've put on. You should have 13/64 of an inch there, a gap, and it gives you the dimensions here from side to side with a 1/16 of an inch spacer in there, which I've set everything up. So now we can start measuring. I've converted it all to metric so it's easier to read. So now we'll check it and see what a horror story we've got.
Okay.
Right, so you should have 130.9 from there to there. Right, so that is to the edge of there out. If we measure the thickness of that, that'll tell us how far out it is. Which is 5mm. Let me get a pen. -5. Check it again. 131. So we're 5mm out there. So that side should be 86.5. And we've got 90mm. So that's too big. So 6 minus 5, put it that way. If that comes over, no, because that's too big. That one needs to stay there probably. But yeah, probably by the time that's straightened that way and that's straightened that way, that'll bring the back end in line there.
Okay.
So that's the rear end. That is 218, so that's only a millimetre out overall. So I think probably by tweaking that, that'll bring that rear end in line, because it'll go 5mm that way, 5mm that way, which is what it needs.
Yeah.
But the worrying bit is the front. With that hard up against those two sides there, you should have, between that inside edge and that line there, you should have a 5mm gap, which clearly it hasn't.
Oh dear.
And that's about your gap to that edge. So you've got 7mm, and you should have a 5mm gap. So that's 12mm. That's 12mm out of line, which is your headstock angle. I think the frame's done that. You can see that that's doing that to the down tube. If you eyeball that from there to there, look, you can see it. But when you come up here, well, you should be coming through the centre line of that.
All right.
You come over to that second hole there, it's better. If you put that in the centre line of that, that's how pissed that top tube is. And then that, it should, in theory, line through with that. So it's hard to know what is bent and what isn't. But I don't think I won't get that twist out of the frame.
What's the repercussions of that then?
Will ride like a bag of shit, but they ride like a bag of shit anyway. So
When you say ride, I mean in what way though?
It'll probably turn into corners on a left-hander better than a right-hander.
Okay.
All sorts of weird stuff.
It's not dangerous then. It's just.
It's not dangerous, but
it's an uncomfortable ride.
It just won't be nice. I shouldn't think. I mean, they're all probably bent, but this one's particularly bent. You know.
Yeah.
And there's a place in Maidstone that can do it. I'll have to talk to Craig and see what he wants to do.
So how do they straighten it all out then?
They clamp all of that in so it's dead true.
Yeah.
And they have great big solid metal jigs, and they just heat and bend them.
Okay.
Crank them all straight back into line, you know. And the only other thing I can do later on is put the wheels back in it and put a straight edge. Make sure the back wheel is lined up perfectly to the frame, but until you've done these, there's not a lot of point. So get that in line, and then put a straight edge across your tyre and see how the front wheels. It won't tell you that angle bend on it. Yeah. It will tell you if that's over there by an inch compared to. That's your real worry. If the back wheel's there and the front wheel's over there, you know, like that, then it'll just track down the road like that.
Yeah.
That's your major issue. But if they're in line and the front wheel's just like that, you probably won't notice it as much. But it's trying to work out where it's bent. It could have been hit in the middle and it's actually doing that. You know, it could have just been smacked here and it's doing that. It could have been walloped on the front forks and that's just twisted it.
It does look like he's been hit in the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I was looking down there. I don't know if it's an optical illusion or not, but that seat tube didn't look straight to me, but you can't really tell that I've got everything clamped on it. Those I can do, I'm not worried about them. Again, it's where these end up. By doing that, you could be making it worse. They might have done this to try and straighten it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if that's over there, they might have tweaked that like that to make the wheels run true. You can end up possibly making it worse than it was, which I think the next thing to do is put the wheels in and see what that's like, because if they might have bent that like that to make it run true, to make the wheels run true like that. It's easier to bend that than it is straighten that lot. That's the point. But look, the backs of these are all bent round and